Welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts Sex Podcast, a show that examines all aspects of sexuality, from physical to emotional to spiritual. Join our hosts as they discuss age-old questions, common misconceptions, and the latest topics surrounding sex. They'll tackle topics about sexuality from the complicated to the hilarious and everything in between. GSMC Sex Podcast is your show for all of your questions about sex, even some you might not have thought of yet.
Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Andra, where the topic about sex is from the point of view of an older woman. Now, today's topic of the show is all things of vagina. We're going to talk about some things that look like vaginas, slang words used for vaginas, or like some bizarre vagina thing places, or things that we see what we would never expect to look like vaginas. And then we will talk about, close it out on what the vagina tastes like, where we look at some people's view, in an interview that they had, and how they explain what it tastes like. So, it's hot outside. Stay inside with the air conditioning, and let's talk about sex. So now to start it off, we're going to talk about some things that look like a vagina, but are not a vagina. These are everyday foods to all kinds of. You could look at something once and it may be just laying there, a towel or something, and realize, my God, that looks like a vagina. Top on our list is oysters, or our oysters, shall I say. Now, a good amount of people love seafood and like to go out and have oysters on a half shell, and you just suck them down. So with oysters, if you just look at them, you can just see how the folds in the oyster just mimic the labia of the vagina, and how they open up, and you can see the slit and everything. It even appears with like a little clitoris. So, a little clit in there. So, men, when you're out there, or whoever, having those oysters, take a deep look at those. Get horned out and suck them down. Shuck them, suck them, and, whatever else. Mussels are the next one. Obviously, another seafood. Although I'm sure you do not eat those on a half shell. You do need to cook those. But vagina looking mussels, when you open them up and sweat them out, do resemble a vagina. The lips and all that, and all that good stuff. Another good thing is the yoni flower. Their buds, when they're starting to burst out with the flowers, actually resembles a reddish pink vagina, whereas you see the labia, you see the slit, you see all of that. The outside is the skin, whichever color it is, and then boom, there you go. Another thing which I don't think looks like it, but other people do. The Hydnora africana, which is a plant, although it does resemble that of a vagina, a real scary one. So I would really actually rethink that one. So if you really want to look that up and check it out, please do. That one's one of the more scarier things that are considered to look like vaginas. And we don't want that. We want to savor vaginas and not have it scare somebody off. The next one is actually a place where football is played. The Al Wakra Stadium. And believe it or not, the World Cup was, well, actually, the preliminary designs were for the Qatar 2022 World Cup Stadium. They were released, but then when it was made, it actually got a ravishing review of looking like a vagina. So from the top it does, however, it is blue. If you could look at it and look at a picture, imagining it pink, I'm a little torn on that one. So, you gotta look at these different. Everybody has a different view on it. Yes, it does look like it, but the stadium's blue. So, I don't know. You gotta look at that one. That's another one that could be out for reviews. Dried pears. When they're dried, you know what a pear looks like on the inside? Well, imagine it dried and shriveled. It starts to, although orange, it does resemble it. Now, there is one that is here that is a donut. But I really believe that the donut wasn't exactly made correctly. So this is the end result of a warped donut. So I can't hold that one up to any standards of a vagina. Next, which actually does look like a vagina, either, not dehydrated or hydrated. One or the other, they both look the same. It looks like a vagina, and these are strawberries. So, and you know how shriveled up they get. And usually, some people will call the vagina a strawberry or a cherry or some sort of fruit. Not unknown, but there are a lot of fruits out there that do resemble that. Now, there is a meat that I think it just happened to be this packaging that actually looks like a vagina and a butt, believe it or not, where a woman's legs are open. But I think that just happened to be the cut of meat. So I will really not think that one through too hardly. However, there is other meats that have been packaged, like a turkey crown, which when packaged actually looks like a vagina. Then we go into the inside of a pomelo. Not too familiar with this fruit, but it kind of sort of resembles a grapefruit with little seeds or little whatever's in there. And it does look like a vagina. Now, we're going into the nature part of things that look like the vagina with what is called the Grandmother Rock. It's on Limay Beach, or Limay Beach, Limai. And if you are standing atop and looking down into it, you get the full view of where it could be legs in the vagina's opening. I would presume that is a cave as well. So you could probably go into it, and there is a water that flows through. So it does actually look like a vagina. Now, talking about rocks, we're going to go over to China, and they have the Vagina rock in China. And they actually, believe it or not, have a penis rock as well, according to this. But it does look like a vagina, just a little bit more dark and airy. I don't know how far I would go with that one, but it is up for interpretation. So do check out pictures of these lovely nature sites. Another ones, these are other rock sculptures that are viewed as a vagina. Now, this one looks exactly like one, and water is flowing out of it, so it looks like it is actually coming. But it doesn't exactly give the name of what it is. So, gotta look that one up. Then we have the vagina tree. Tree Dorella is what they're calling it. And it does leave something to the imagination. You know, there are bonsai trees out there that their trunk that grow actually looks like a full-figured woman. And they really have some stuff in the trunk, let me tell you. So this tree is speaking, and the vagina is quite clear. So you gotta look at it that way. Now, there is a plant. I don't even know what this is, and I don't think it looks like a vagina, so we'll go by that one. There is a mountain out there in our lovely scenic views. And if you go onto the accidentalvagina.com, a lot of these pictures are out there. So they're basically just stating, like, if you went somewhere and you were in a national park and you happen to look over and you see, oh my God, that looks like a vagina. So this is the accidental vaginas that they are, look and find. Now, we all remember Sugar Smacks when we were younger. That cereal with the little froggy on the box. Believe it or not, the Puff to Eat is another food or item, shall I say, that resembles, it made it to the list to resemble that of a vagina. Now I'm going to really have to think, if and when I ever want to eat Sugar Smacks again. I don't know. Now, the conch shell, very, very beautiful shell. Usually found like in the Bahamas, Aruba, St. Croix, all out there. And if you look at a conch shell, and they always ask you to hold it up to your ear, and you will hear the ocean. However, in this instant, hold it up to your ear. You might get a little bit more than a surprise because they do resemble a vagina. Now, ladies, we love our stilettos. And there are they're shoes. They're like booty shoes. No, shoestrings or anything like that actually have a slit from the side. Actually looks like a vagina, and I think we all know what those are. But these are actually on stylite.com if you want to look them up. Very nice pair of shoes, by the way. A little too high for me, but hey, if you can wear them, gone. Now, this is one of my favorite foods, and will not stop eating it just because it looks like a vagina now and has been listed as one of the foods. And these are pecan nuts. They taste very, very well. Very, very good. And if they're going to pick a pecan, why not just pick a walnut as well? I don't know. Now, there is Japanese bread that resembles a vagina, and it's actually a snack bread. And the way it's cooked, it actually has a pinkish interior and an opening in the layers that resemble the labia of the vagina. So look up Japanese bread. We have a lot of stores out there and markets now that you can go to the Asian market and get, things from Japan, China that are from the country. So ask for Japanese bread. Another one that made it to the list, which is just a freak way of growing, is a red bell pepper. And it just happened to form in the shape of a vagina. So take that red bell pepper, turn it upside down, and just look at that way. It just slightly misshapen, and there you go. That one's actually on foodbeast.com if you want to look at it. However, when you do slice into a red bell pepper, you have the seeds before you clean them out. So if you cut it in half, you have the seeds in the sides and the white meat part that we generally clean out. But if you leave it and just cut off one piece, it does resemble a vagina. Now, this is the end of this portion of my show, and we're going to take a break. So get that snack, get that drink, come back, get relaxed, and I'll meet you back here to continue our talk about vaginas and all the various ways they're being looked at, talked about, and tasting. So come on and to continue our sex talk.
Still on the search of that one true love? On the limbo in this crazy world of dating, marriage, relationships? Well, listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Relationship Podcast, your one-stop podcast for everything about relationships.
Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am still your host, Andra, where the topic about sex is from the point of view of an older woman. Now, we have been talking about, because we started out the show with things that look like a vagina. These could be everyday items, it could be fruit, it could be whatever your imagination sees as a vagina. Now, let's continue on, and we will finish out the show later on with people's perspective on how the vagina tastes. So that should be quite interesting. We have on here, and this is actually on incrediblethings.com. Somebody bought a custom made couch, and in between it's a mauve and metallic pink couch. It's a lounge suite, and the way it was made, when it got finished, the pink areas between each of the maroon cushions actually look like there are about 10 vaginas on the couch. So look that one up. Now, there is a pink cordless mouse out there, yes, for the computer, that is pink, and the rolling element is actually, I would say about a cream color, but the piece, it goes from the cream to a darker pink to a lighter pink to a darker pink. So it does resemble a vagina. That one's actually on Pinterest. Some of these things you do have to look up because they are quite interesting to see. But this is where our minds are. And we happen to look over and boom, oh my God, that looks like a vagina. It could be anything we are looking at. We could be cooking with something and we happen to see that. It could be a way something grew. A design of something that was meant to be one thing comes out looking like a vagina. Whether you keep that design or anything like that is completely up to you. It will be an item of interest and the talk of your guests. So that's completely up to you. Now, this next one that looks like a vagina is a construction design. And this design is at Florida University. I guess when they did this, they really didn't look at the design when it was being put up in blueprints, but the minute it was actually made from the sky view, it looks exactly like a vagina. It is oval like an eye, like that, but it has all the slits and the protruding labia and the opening in between there. So they are quite interesting. Another one is a mini golf course. I believe it's at Card Sun Limited, but it is on that website and it's card with a K, sunlimited.com. So look that up. Someone actually built a particular mini golf course. One of the holes that the mounds, they're all green, but the shape kind of sort of looks, well, okay, it does look like a vagina. Okay. But to see that one up perfectly, you might want to go and play mini golf there. Who knows? Here's another flower, which is absolutely beautiful, which actually looks like a rose. And as the rose has fully bloomed, it is now in the stages of kind of dying. So the leaves and the petals and everything have curled up to resemble a vagina. Like I said, there are, what are they called? Bonsai trees out there with the trunks that grow, look like a full figured woman's hips and body. There are several tree trunks out there that actually look like vaginas. Do look them up if you want to see them. They're on redbubble.net. Then we have French bread, and the way it actually rose in the oven, that with all the layers with French bread and have formed to look like a vagina. It doesn't say where that one's at, but it's something to look up. There are purses out there that on the side view, how they expand to hold the items on the inside. Actually, when they close, depending on whatever color they are, obviously pink here, actually looks like a vagina. This particular one is on Pinterest, so do look it up. They do give you something interesting to look at. Other ways, maybe not. It's up to you. Now, we're going to move on. There are a lot of things out there that we can take for interpretation. And we do. Our minds might be in the gutter at the time. That's why they look like vaginas or any kind of a genital, penis, vagina, you name it, any portion of it. But they are out there. So take a picture, submit them. Hey, there are a lot of people out there that like to look at those. So we are going to move on to another topic about our wonderful vagina. Now, we'll look at some ways to make our vagina look pretty. And we're actually talking about the pubic hairs. Now, there are some women out there that shave completely. There are some that just shave their bikini line and keep the muff down there. There are others that shave it into a nice little shape. There's that little Brazilian cut there and everything like that. I'm sure they have 9 million or more names of ways to shave down there. But you always want to know different ways you can do this. You always want to try it out. You want to shave it all, go for it, let it grow back in, and then design it the way you want it. Who's to say? Men have beards and mustaches. They put wax in it to make it stand and do stuff. Maybe you want to do that. Your choice altogether. It's what you want your vagina to look like, ladies. But now there are people out there who do not grow pubic hair. And if you want pubic hair, they do make wigs for your vagina. They're called merkins. Merkin. Very interesting. And you can buy these. They come in all sorts of colors, shapes, and sizes. So there are rugs for down there, ladies, if you want to change it up a bit. I'm sure somebody has got venturous and dyed it down there. Be very careful. Dye is a chemical. And you don't want to damage your vagina at all. So please, if you are being brave enough to do that, please be careful. Now, there are number of names for these wigs, or toupees, shall we say. So it's still called toupees. It's twat, a kitty carpet, fur beret, or a lady's low toupee. But you can buy these at the Merkin Bouquet. There's the Merkin store. There is also the Playful Pear Shop, which is burlesque and costume Merkins. So if you are into burlesque and into sex play and all of that, you could go to the Playful Pear Shop and find some good things there. Some merkins, some little rug stuff down there. And then there's another one that's called the Crystal Faith Creation. And they actually make high quality, realistic merkins. So, something to look into. Maybe you just want to try it out for one sexual hot number in the sack on one night. Do try it. They do have lovely array of them. There are also, believe it or not, merkins with rhinestones. These are actually in the Merkin boutique. So as funny as we think of that, it is true. We have rugs for down there. So if you want to go a little crazy, look them up. Now we have some vajazzling, and it's just funny. It's just applying tiny crystals to your nether regions in a pattern. So they make them so they can sit there. You can arrange them down there and put some sparkles down there, some crystals. Surprise your mate. You might want to just, you're blinging up your vagina, and that's what they're there for. No pain involved. You can also do it on your nipples as well. And a couple of places that you can get some crotch decor, as they're called, is from the Crystal Barty Art. And that's out of Australia, but you can go onto their website and get some. The other one is My Pink Wink, which is out of the U.S. Divine Body Jewels, which is also out of the U.S. Now, the picture that they do show and advertise, a Lada Bikini, and it's a vajazzle, and it is by My Pink Wink. So they are just crystals that it's an applique you can just apply to your vagina and then put a couple on your nipples or on your breast, because that's what they're there for. Now, I can't see doing this. Bleach is very, very, very chemically, it's bad. I mean, obviously we use it to clean and disinfect, which it is very good for and highly recommended, especially in today's time, where now I don't even think coronavirus is considered coronavirus anymore, according to the president. However, whatever. We are plagued with something, whatever it may be. But bleach your labia or buttonhole. Now, it sounds very painful, but there is actually a product that can do that. So you're not going to use real bleach. Haha, had you all worked up. But there's something called the South Beach Gel, which it will lighten up your nether regions. And you won't get third-degree burns if you did it with, like you would with bleach. So that's not highly recommended. Please do not do it. I do not condone that. Thank you very much. But they do have this South Beach Gel where you can put it on there and it will bleach your labia and it will bleach your buttonhole. So if you want to light a labia, a little not so dark down there, go for it. And this is the actual product name, South Beach Gel. So look it up there on the website, on the internet, shall I say. Now, here is another way we can make our vagina look really pretty, is to do an IPL Brazilian hair removal. And you can do this at home. Like I said, there are those things out there, they have the Brazilian bikini wax, they have the Brazilian butt, they have the, lift and everything. So those Brazilians, I don't know, they are very highly sexual out there. So a lot of people will try them out and will come here. But, it is a laser hair removal, and it's it's really good for totally removing your mane and getting rid of all of your pubic hair down there. You can do it at home, and it will remove any hair that you want removed. So there's one that's called the Philips Lumia Prestige IPL hair removal for body, face, and bikini, which is one of the top ones that is recommended. So we're going to take a break here. When we come up, we will finish up on our ways to make our vagina pretty and tame the mane down there, ladies, and how we want to, spice up the area for our partners for a wild night of sex. So go replenish your snack, replenish your drink, come back here, get relaxed again. And remember, the last thing we're going to talk about in today's show, later on in the segment, in the show, the session, whatever you want to call it, we're going to talk about how the vagina tastes. And, we're going to get this from some descriptions some people have given for it. Quite interesting enough. But please do come back. Meet me back here for more sex talk with Andra.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Thank you for tuning into the GSMC podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Andra, where the topic about sex is from the point of view of an older woman. Now, where we left off with was that Brazilian hair removal at home, where you can, get one of the top ones that is called by Philips. And it is the Philips Lumia Prestige IPL hair removal for body, face, and bikini. You can go onto Amazon Australia and find it. I'm sure if you go onto Amazon, you can find it. So we are going to continue on with ways to make, make the vagina pretty, or spice up that little muff down there. That lovely pubic hair. And then we will close out the show with, the view of those that have gone down into those nether regions on how the vagina tastes. So let's go on. Now, obviously, as always, most women will go down there and trim our pubics, our pubes, whatever you want to call them. Doesn't matter what color they are. However, we like to do that into pretty little shapes. And there is actually, by Veet, a sensitive precision beauty styler. Hey, it's out there. You can shape your pubes into anything that you'd like with whatever you can do it with. If you want a barber to do it and they're willing to do it, let them do it. Who's to say there aren't little places out there that will do that for you? Don't let me stop you there. A lot of people like the waxing. You can do these into, if you want a landing strip, if you want a itty bitty heart, your pubes in the shape of a heart, absolutely your choice. However, this particular beauty styler by Veet will help you contour those pubes into the shapes that you want with apparently sheer perfection. Who's to say? There are weirder things out there. Why not this? I am not surprised by any of this. Most women will just get that little tiny razor and do it themselves. So they're out there, every different shape, size. Hey, there is a man's micro razor out there. So use that. They shave their beards with it. Pube hairs are probably just as thick. So use that. It is there for that. Now, the next one is a vagina facial, and they call it a vaginasal. So, quite an interesting name. Now, they feel that this will actually help if you get old. As you're getting older, obviously we are getting, wrinkles, getting older. But nowadays, a lot of society has actually changed their view, and a lot more people, the older they get, is the younger they get, because they are maintaining their shape. So a vagina facial cleanses, moisturizes, and like smooths that surface down there. They do have those out there. You can go and pick these things up. And it's funny because they don't exactly give you a list on where it is, but I'm sure if you put in vagina facials into the Google, it will come up. Or if you like Bling or Bing or whatever it is, I use Google, you can find them. But they're supposed to be able to make your vagina nice, smooth, soft, and beautiful. Real pretty for you. So you can actually put those little rhinestones on. So you need some facial down there. Why not? If you're going to give it a shape, give it a facial. It doesn't mind. Now we have, believe it or not, they also have for like your vagina, they have steaming herbs, believe it or not. There is also, if you want to read more up on it, there is, there's actually an article out there called, Do You Have a Saggy Vagina? Try Vontouring. Look that up. And that's what it's called. But there are, herbs out there and creams and stuff like that, but, herbs have been found to work much better. But there are vaginal steaming herbs herbs, not verbs, herbs, out there. Hey, they're putting a V on everything. Why not that? So look them up. They're out there, ladies. Maybe, your partner can give the facial to you. Well, the vagina facial, shall we say. And the two of you can sit there while you have a regular facial. But now we know the Brazilians are out there, and there's so many things that they are doing sexually, and from contouring to waxing to all these things out there. However, the French actually have a French wax. It actually supposedly it has a grooming style all its own. It is delicate and tidy without being completely bare or bold. Very nice. Now, apparently you can go out into the beauty stores and find these things. So just go find your beauty therapist and ask them for a French or an alternative one that you can do. There are different ways, different French ways to do it. You can have the plain OP bikini wax, which is that little triangle down below. Or you can have the French bikini wax, which is a triangle, just a little bit more oblonged out. You can have the French in-betweeny bikini wax, which is just a little sliver of pubic hair. Or you can just go with the full Brazilian wax with absolutely zilch, and they clean you out. You have no pubes, you are bare down there. Completely up to you. How you view your vagina is your way. How you want it to look, pretty or not, is of your choosing. There are so many things out there. Why not have different varieties for your vagina to spice it up in the bedroom? Hey, it's there. Give your partner something to look at. Surprise him. Every time you go in, he goes down for the catch. Who's to say? Now, we're going to have a pretty vagina. We need strong vaginal muscles. So, there is Kegel eggs or things exercises that you can do. However, they have the Yanni egg out there, which is exactly what it says. It is actually in the shape of an egg. It's a crystal for your vagina, and it has a string on the end of it, which will stick out, but it helps to strengthen those muscles down there in your pelvic muscles and everything like that. But with the little piece that hangs out, you can have a little charm on it, make it look like a little earring. There is a yoni egg set, which, and this is to practice your kegels. So you can use these. There's also a wand that goes with it, and they are crystals. So they have a little bit of weight to them, so you're going to be really working those muscles. Believe it or not, these, although probably can be found elsewhere, they are on Etsy. So go on there. They have different ones. They have quartz, amethyst, all kinds of different ones. And if you are into crystals, each crystal stone actually means something and does certain healings. So you can go one step further with that and to heal your vagina if that's what you want, or to enhance it even more. Get a crystal that you want to get that is going to give you the best empowerment of that. Now, a lot of ladies out there have got their nipples pierced. Men get their nipples pierced. But there is a clit piercing, if you want to make it pretty down there. However, that is our sensitive portion. Our little itty bitty clit has a lot of nerve endings in there. So it may be a little difficult because of that. If you want to get it pierced and you are brave, go ahead. Just remember, it is what gets, when we stimulate that and our partners just go to town on it, whichever way they want to do it, suck it, lick it, finger it. If you have it pierced, you are walking around with that on. You are piercing the nerves, which is probably going to send you off into numerous orgasms with or without a partner. I'm assured there are a lot of women out there that do have this piercing, and kudos to you. I don't think I could ever handle it. However, it's the way it's pierced, because the piercing goes through the hood of the clitoris. So you're actually getting all that sensitivity. Like I said, if you can handle it, go for it. And there are places, obviously, if you're going to get it pierced, there are specialized jewelry just for the clitoris. And you can buy them at Jeweled Navel, which is out of the U.S., and XS, extra small, or however you want to do it. It's a capital X and a capital S, body jewelry out of Canada. And I'm sure that there's a lot here. One particular piece is the vertical hood piercing barbell, which actually has a hinged crystal heart on it. It looks awfully big in the picture, but I would really think about that before doing it. Like I said, for you ladies out there that have done it, oh, kudos. And for you gentlemen who have been able to get the Prince William, I believe it's called, which is piercing your penis head, more power to you. I will give you that one. If you don't want to go through that, get a non-piercing labia clip, which you can just clip those onto your labia, get the sexual satisfaction out of them, and then take them off. Completely up to you. It's non-evasive, but very cute for that, that sex night, where if you want to put them on and get a little, you want to dress up your vagina as you dress yourself up for your partner, go for it. They have a lot of these on Etsy. I'm sure they are elsewhere, but Etsy is one of the top ones for getting these. Like I said earlier, if you want to dye your pubic hair, please get a hair dye that does not have ammonia in it or parabens in it, because that is what is going to burn you. So you don't really want that down there and burn your vagina because you kind of sort of need that. Now, there are places that you can go and buy pubic hair, vagina hair color. Hey guys, if you wanted to, this is also for you. Maybe you want to give your partner a little bit of a sight, go for it. There is a place there that's online that's called Manic Panic, and it is vegan hair coloring. So if that's your interest, go for it. Also, there is another place which is RY, capital R, capital Y, which means recreate yourself. So think about that. It is, like I said, they don't have ammonia in it, which is very safe for your genital area. We don't want that in there. So remember that. Now this is the end of this segment for right now. So I'm going to take another short break here. If you want to get up and get some more snacks and some drink, go for it. If not, just stay there, cooling out in your comfortable chair or on the couch or wherever it is that you are comfortable. And I will meet you back here after a brief commercial break to discuss, talk about people's perceptives of how the vagina tastes when they're going down on their partners. So should be quite interesting to close out the show with. So I will meet you back here for more talk about sex with Andra.
Are you tired of the same old news? Are you sick of the seemingly endless political spin and negativity? The GSMC America Still Beautiful podcast is a weekly news podcast covering all the top positive and uplifting news stories. We cover stories that will inspire, uplift, and remind you of the good in the world. Tune into the Golden State Media Concepts America Still Beautiful podcast to get all the great and positive news stories of today. Download the GSMC America Still Beautiful podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
Thank you for tuning into the GSMC podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Andra, with a topic about sex. It's from the point of view of an older woman. Now, we finished out the last segment with ways to make our vagina pretty and what is available to do that. There are a lot of things out there right now which are new on the market, which weren't there years and years ago. The sexual allure, the vagina, the focus on the vagina and even on the penis has shifted and it become more prevalent in today's society. So, we have new ways of doing things and things that are available. So whether you clearing it completely off of pubic hair or if you dye it different colors or if you shave it completely off, there are also sites where you can get rhinestones to pretty that up as well. Just to give a small recap. But as promised, I am going to finish out the show with the opinion of some people who have shared their stories, describing the taste of a vagina. So, as we always say with girls, sweet spice, or is everything nice down there? Always wanted to wonder, I don't know if anybody else does, but it's passed my mind every so often. I'm sure it's passed, gone through and wiggled its way through on what it actually tastes like. I'm sure there are ways to find that out for ourselves where we can get our own outlook as to it and where we can give our own description. But for right now, we are going to reach out and look at what other people have said. Now, the first one off the top of the list, this person stated that the vagina tastes like a rusty coin. That doesn't even sound appetizing to me. And I'm the female. So, I don't know. I guess you got to remember when it comes to taste and everything, everybody's taste is different and we perceive it in different ways. So, yeah, a rusty coin. Do coins really get that rusty? I mean, you really got to go through hell for them to be rusty. So how do you know what a freaking rusty coin tastes like? And how could you put that to a vagina? Have you been sucking on rusty coins? Interesting enough. Now, this next one, I would really take this to heart, and insulting, by the way. But one person describes it as like salted fish and pennies. Again, how do you know what pennies taste like if are you sitting there and sucking them down or sucking on them or whatever? Or is it just the smell on your hands after you have pennies and coins in your hand? And then with most of us, how our senses work, if we're smelling something, it will come out through our mouth every so often. You can say, oh my God, I smell this so much that I can taste it. That is a way of looking at it. But to move on, we have on another end, oniony. Now, this one was really, really interesting. This person actually stated it doesn't have any flavor, but it has aroma and chemical compounds that give the impression of taste of an onion. So, yeah, interesting enough. I don't know. Although with onions, we do eat those, so I cannot argue with how you're going to find out the taste is of an onion. Next one, it tastes like an armpit. Ooh. I mean, really, they even go on to state after a day of not showering. So, did you go and lick someone's armpit and then lick your partner's, eat your vagina of your partner? Stop licking it and getting her off because during your sex, I find that one like really, really, funny. Now this one, I can state we do eat pork. For the most of us, we've either had it and then decided to go vegan or vegetarian. Your choice. However, someone does says that it tastes like pork products. It was so watery, yet it had a smack of ham to it. So interesting enough. This next one escapes me just by how they explained it. Unflavored yogurt. That is not one of my favorite foods. I know a lot of people out there love a yogurt. I am not one of them. And I have tried it, so ugh. But it does say that at first it tastes like pee and then unflavored yogurt. If you dip your tongue into the hole of the vagina, obviously the opening of the vagina, that's where they're getting this from. And but then in the end they state that you can lick away and there's really no flavor, just a musty, pungent smell. Remember, people, you're going down on us, whoever your partner is. You're going down on a female. we have been running around all day unless your partner gets up, takes a shower first and everything like that and comes back. They have sweated all day. They have done all kinds of things. And remember, people, or shall I just say not remember, when you use feminine products, the idea of feminine products is to make it better or smell better or whatever it is. That is messing with the pH balance of your vagina. So, or what's going on. So you are going to get your vagina to be different in a sense if you want to go that way with it. So remember, when you start doing all of this and changing all of this, I know it's for your partner. I know it's to, let them have some fun. But when you use these products and you're douching or you're just using feminine freshness products, the whole idea of them is to make you smell fresh and better. So remember, what they're doing is they're actually changing your chemical levels or something in your pH, and it's screwing with you. So it might just come out not as well as you want it to. Another individual describes this as, the vagina as tasting like sour and tangy. Interesting. Then we get one that, because they believe that it tastes like a puppy's breath. Interesting. Well, I can understand if you have a dog, you're around the dog. But there are those dogs who, if you do not take care of their teeth and brush them, yes, they have bad breath. So, somebody else actually gets a little bit more descriptive and states that it doesn't taste like coins, but it does taste like your sweat after you've been holding coins for a while. Like I said, if you're holding coins in your hand, the smell stays in your hand, and then once you smell it, the most of us will say that the smell was so pungent that we could taste it. So that's the only way I can think of, unless you are actually putting coins in your mouth. Now, this is a positive one that someone actually gave us, which was blissful. They actually described the taste as transcendent, and we're not going to say the next word because it is not allowed on here, but bliss to them. Thank you very much for that one. That is very nice. Combo taste. Yum was another person's description. A hint of salt, but sweet to the taste. Obviously, you must enjoy what you're doing in order to go down there in the first place. So, I don't know what you're expecting, but we are human, people. Us women are human. Oh, don't forget that. We sweat. We're in underwear all day. Or whatever. Who's to say? I mean, obviously, at times it's different. Who's to say that you orgasmed during the day and then you went home and went to bed with your partner, but you still have that aroma on you? So you could have masturbated and then left it there and seen if your partner could figure it out. I don't know. This person actually said, seriously? And they explained it as eating a snack-sized bag of chili cheese Fritos and then bite into a Granny Smith apple. And that is where they got their idea of what a vagina tastes like. It's being explained as squishy and squid-like, although I can see where it's squishy. That part I can understand because you are getting us wet. So we are going to, be all lubricated up. That's the whole idea. That's the reason why you went down there. Make it a little easier for you guys. If you don't like the taste, get a flavored lubricant and do that. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, squishy. This person explains that, it's like you're licking a dead squid, which, I mean, the only way you can look at that as is, yeah, eating squid in a restaurant, you ordered it, or, I don't know, you bought it in the store and then looked at it. Strange. But it's awesome. So thank you for that one. Another one is explained as she's like a drug. Nectar, water, salt, and citrus, all mingled. And it's with like the scent of the pubic hair and all of that and sweat. It's us just eluting our scent through our vagina, basically. Very interesting. However, if it tastes and smells like fish, people, please go see your gynecologist. That's not good for your partner to be licking, and it is not good for you, because there might be something wrong. So please go and check that out. And if you do have a partner that you feel extremely comfortable with and you've been with them for a while, I don't think that will be an issue. However, if it's someone you have first met and this is the first time you're having sex, that might be a turnoff. So, I don't know. Think about it that way. Obviously, this next one, we all can relate to this with regards to taste-wise. However, like I said, an acquired taste. Like a metal spoon. We eat with spoons every day. What can I say? So, I mean, this person actually came up with this because, this is the first time they ever went down on their girlfriend. They felt that they should finger her first and then taste the fingers to see what it would taste like. Instead of actually going down on their partner, they actually tasted their finger. And that's what they came up with, the metal spoon. Another one kind of puts this nicely. Depends on the diet. Interesting enough. And that is actually quite true. Like I stated earlier, anything that you do down there to your body changes pH, changes chemical balance, changes what things, how it's going to smell, how it's going to taste, whatever. But if you're on a particular diet, whatever you eat in that diet will come through your pores. A prime example of that is exactly garlic. If you eat a lot of garlic does cleanse you and it cleanses your pores, and it is very good to have. But if you have an enormous amount of garlic, that is what you start to smell like. And I don't know about everybody else, but I am not partial to the smell. I cook with it, but the smell could be put on a back burner. I mean, when I'm cooking with it and the aroma is coming out of the pan, absolutely great. But if you are constantly, I've been around people who eat a lot of garlic and you can smell it. It is a very strong smell. So there you go. This one actually compared the taste of the vagina to beer, metallic beer. So cheers to you. Another one actually liked the smell, or it says it tasted like honey soy chips. Now, I've never even heard of that kind of chip, but okay, what can I say? I don't know. There's so many different things, and like the overall consensus with it is somewhat of a metallic taste. Wet meat or something like that. It becomes whatever your diet is. It's acidic along that way. So it's really, it can be sour, it can be acidic, it could be something. But everybody has a different description and a different taste variance. So it all depends on your partner and you. There are a ton of different ways of this. It is completely up to you and your partner. Your partner makes that choice. If they don't like it, they don't like it. They don't always have to go down on you, but if that's something you like and your partner didn't enjoy it the first time, well, you better either, if you want to stay with them and you really like them or love them or whatever, you either find another way to do it or find another partner. It's just one or the other. It is, I would presume, an acquired taste. There are partners out there that just absolutely love it. There are others that they don't like it. It is really up to you. Some women who like to have it done, other women who do not. It is a sexual preference. The taste is for the person who is doing it and how they perceive of it and how it tastes. That is exactly how it is viewed. But I want to say thank you for tuning in. And as always, practice safe sex, please. If not for your partner, for yourself. And, have fun at sex, because that is what it is. With all this new stuff out there, please go out and try it out. Make that vagina beautiful, which I'm assured nowadays women already know about this stuff. But do try it out on your partner. That's what it is there for, and I think they'd appreciate it. So thank you for listening to the GSMC podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I would like to ask that you please remember to subscribe to the show and write a nice review. That really helps me, and it helps us as a whole here at GSMC Podcast Network. Also, if you can please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We are on there. Look us up and like us. Hit that little like button there. Thank you, and again, have a good night.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sex Podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcasts on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type in GSMC to find all of our shows from the GSMC Podcast Network. From sex and relationships to health and wellness, life and happiness, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's episode of the Golden State Media Concepts Sex Podcast.